Hi friends, this is your word study introduction video for lesson number 4. And lesson number 4 is part of our 9-week unit on Greek and Latin roots. Our roots for this week are duck and duct, flew and flux. The first two roots, duck and duct, mean to lead, to take, or to bring. So you're going to see themes like leading, taking, and bringing inside of all of our words that have the roots duck and duct. The second two, flew and flux, mean to flow. So in the definitions for kind of our last set of words, you're going to see a lot about flowing, water flowing, money flowing. The first definition is tending to cause or bring about. The word is conducive. Now, this is a tricky word for people to understand, okay? So let me tell you how conducive is usually used. If I want to make a statement about my classroom, if I want to say my classroom is conducive to student learning, if something is conducive to student learning, then everything about that space or about that thing tends to cause or bring about good student learning. So if I wanted to say that my classroom is very conducive to student learning, I could tell you that it was well organized, which makes it more free of distractions. It's clean, which helps people focus. It is hopefully quiet during instruction and work time, which really helps people get some good work done. Those are factors that make my room conducive to student learning. If a learning environment was disorganized or really dirty or loud and noisy and distracting, then it would not be conducive to student learning. The next definition is to reach a conclusion by reasoning, to infer, or to lead to a conclusion. The word is deduce. Usually the word deduce is used related to detectives or police officers who are investigating a crime scene. As they investigate the crime scene, they have to try to infer, they have to try to make a conclusion about what happened at that crime scene and maybe who the bad guy was. That conclusion, that act of making the conclusion is deducing. It's taking all of your evidence and pulling out a conclusion that fits with all of the pieces. Okay? They are deducing. That's their job, is to deduce what happened at the crime scene. The next definition is to bring into a group or to meet. The word is introduce. If somebody new comes into a group and you know them and you know the group, then you would do introductions. You would help introduce the new person to the group. You'd help bring them in or help them meet each other. The next definition is to bring forth. The word is produce. The word produce means to bring forth. Now, if we pronounce that word as produce, then it usually means fruits and vegetables. Like there's a produce section at the grocery store that's full of all the fruits and vegetables. So we're not pronouncing it as produce. The word is produce. And usually the word produce means to bring forth or to create. You would produce a movie or you'd produce a screenplay. If you created the movie or the screenplay, then your role in that whole creation would be the producer, the one who creates it, who brings it forth. The next definition is to take down to a smaller form or to bring down. The word is reduce. If you reduce something, you take it down to a smaller form. Reducing is used a lot when you're talking about recipes, because sometimes if you make something in a pot and you boil it for a long time, a lot of the water evaporates and boils out, so it brings down to a smaller form the stuff that's left in the pot. It makes it more rich in flavors. But the other way that we often use reduce in the classroom is related to fractions. You can reduce a fraction and bring it down into simplest form. So 20/30ths could be reduced into 2/3. You could divide the numerator and the denominator by the same amount, which brings the fraction down to a smaller form. The next definition is to lead away by force or to kidnap. The word is abduct. If something gets abducted, it gets taken away forcefully or kidnapped. If my dog was missing for hours and the last thing I knew is that they were in my yard, I might guess that either they ran away or that they were abducted, that someone took them away by force, kind of kidnapped them. I hope that abduct is never a word that you have to encounter in your life. The next definition is a channel that brings water from a remote source. The word is aqueduct. An aqueduct is a channel, like a pipe or like a river, but that's made out of concrete. It's man made that brings water from a remote source. The most famous aqueducts in the United States are in California. The south of California is very dry, but Northern California has huge rainy seasons. It's very wet in Northern California. And so the government of California built aqueducts, channels that take the rainwater from the north and bring them down the length of California to the south where it's much more dry to be cleaned and purified and then used as drinking water. The word is aqueduct. The next definition is the amount that will be taken out first, the payment owed before an expense is covered by insurance. The word is deductible. This is a tricky word for students to understand because usually you don't worry about paying the bills at the doctor's office. That's more something your parents worry about. But deductibles are something that in the world of health insurance we talk about all the time. So a deductible is a set amount of money, maybe $5,000. It's a big chunk of money that you have to pay before your insurance will step up and pay for anything. Okay? The word is deductible. The next definition is the amount that must be taken out or subtracted. The word is deduction. This word is usually used related to income taxes. So every spring, everyone in the United States, all the adults, have to pay something that is called income taxes. The government looks at how much money you made last year, and then you have to pay taxes to the government on that income. Okay, so it's called income taxes. But if during the year you make donations to charities that are tax deductible, then when you pay your income taxes, you can take a deduction. So if I donate $1,000 worth of clothing to Goodwill, then before I claim my income on my taxes, I could subtract that $1,000. I can take that out first, and that amount is called a deduction. So if you donate to charity, then you can subtract from your income taxes the amount that you donated. It's like you never made that money because you gave it away to a charity for free. And that subtraction is called a deduction. Again, this is a word that kids don't encounter very frequently, but that adults who file taxes encounter every spring. The next definition is the section that leads into a book or the opening. This word is introduction. This is a word that usually students understand very easily. An introduction is the beginning part of a book. Now we're switching roots. We did duck and duct, and now we're going to do flew and flux. So look for those roots in these words. The next definition is wealthy, having a great quantity of money, having a bank account that seems to be overflowing. There's that root to flow. It's going to be overflowing. Somebody who is very wealthy is considered affluent. Okay? Affluent means that you're overflowing with money. The next definition is to rise and fall irregularly, to vary, and to flow up and down unpredictably. The word is fluctuate. When something fluctuates, it kind of flows up and down, but you never really know for sure what's going to happen next. A lot of times the word fluctuate is used related to temperature. The temperature in our house fluctuates. It goes up and down, maybe depending on how many people are there, how active they are, if the windows are open, if the air conditioning's on, if the heat is on, if the oven is on. All of those things make the temperature fluctuate, go up and down unpredictably. The next definition is able to flow smoothly or to be very graceful. The word is fluent. In sixth grade, we try to help our readers sound very fluent. We want you to be able to read smoothly and gracefully. We also like dance teachers, like dancers that are very fluent, very graceful, kind of like flowing water, okay, with their body actions. A lot of times the word fluent is used to describe somebody's ability to use a foreign language. I am not fluent in Spanish. I cannot speak Spanish and I cannot understand Spanish. But Senorita Wiley is very fluent in Spanish. She can speak it and speak it very well, and she can understand it. So she is fluent. Maybe one of your goals in life is to become fluent in a second language, or maybe you already are. The next definition is a flowing in of something in a large number or an amount, like a mass arrival. This word is influx. In order for there to be an influx, it has to be huge. Okay, so one or two students walking into our classroom is not an influx. But on the first day of school, when the bell rang and everyone was very excited to get in the building, there was a huge influx of students coming into Bursley Elementary. A really large number that flows in, a sort of mass arrival. Sometimes the word influx is used not to describe people, but to describe something like mosquitoes. You know that part of the summer where you used to be able to play outside in the evening and there was no mosquitoes, and all of a sudden it just seems like as soon as the sun starts to go down, the world is just full of mosquitoes and you can't stand to be outside? You could say that there was a huge influx of mosquitoes. Then you better get to the store to buy bug spray before anybody else does. Our last definition is to overflow, to have more than enough, an overabundance, or more than what is required. I love this word. The word is superfluous. The word superfluous means that you have more than you could possibly need of something. Remember that it's your job now to get one of your word study lists, to highlight the root words within each of your words, and to start studying for our quiz at the end of the week. Have a great day.